Hello everyone. Is the live started? Yes, correct. Welcome. This is day three. We are going to continue pruning the vineyard. So let's get ready. Actually, we are doing two live streams right now, both on the Wine Inspires channel and both on my personal channel. So we will see what happens. Today we are pruning in a different plot. We are on the top of the hill, as you can see. This is one of the most beautiful location on the Sekehid wine region. This is one of our main hills, and you can see the whole city. And this is the middle of the slope, almost the middle. As you can see, it goes even further to the top. And this is a new vineyard actually. One half of it is I think 5 years old, and the other is 6 years old. So we are talking about young vines at the moment, and obviously the pruning is also going to be a bit easier in this situation because they are pretty well formed, not like the ones that we were pruning yesterday in our old vineyard, which are like 60 years old vines, and obviously their growth is a bit more difficult to control, and some parts are dying and we have to replace them. So obviously that's a more difficult situation, and also those vineyards were as we bought from other people during the years, the pruning style was sometimes different, following a different ideology as we did. So in those cases you have to reform the whole vineyard and pruning system. But as this vineyard was planted by us, they look the way that we have intended. And now during the pruning session, we just have to continue with the same strategy. So this one actually is younger than the rest. This is a 2 years or 3 years old, because probably one was missing here or didn't survive after we have planted it. So this is a bit younger. So let's see what can we do here. Obviously the left side is pretty obvious. We are going to leave this cane and remove the end here, but the right side is going to be a bit more difficult since these canes are a bit weaker, and it's the length is not going to be enough. But maybe we could do two things here. I could leave just a few eyes here, one here, and one here, and we would have the growing area growing here. But we could also keep one on this side. Although it is quite short and weak, I, I can see that the buds are pretty healthy, and since this is a very young vine, I think it's not a problem, and we can go with this. And I think I'm even going to shorten this one so we can grow some strong shoots from these. Okay, the first one is done. This one is pretty simple. Everything looks perfect. Let's see if we have any issues on the bark, but we do not have any problems. And we have two very obvious canes to choose, but the only thing is that I think we should test them if they are going to be able to bend, because this grape variety, this is Bocator, which has an interesting story that I'm also going to tell. But what I want to say right now is the fact that these canes are sometimes pretty fragile, so it's better to first bend it into location to see if it's going to work, because if I cut all the rest and leave with one, that is going to break them. We don't really have any other choices, but this looks like it's going to work. I'm going to remove that end, and maybe I'm going to leave. No, I'm not going to leave. I will do it on the other side. So this is good, but I'm going to shorten it a bit because it's going to grow too close to the other one. This one is ready, and now for the other side, obviously this has no chance. I have to cut it even closer so we don't keep a bud there. And now we could go with this or this also, but I think this one looks better and stronger, so I will keep this one. And maybe this length looks good. and maybe keep an eye here for the next season. So we are going to have 1 or 2 shoots here, and we can work from there the next year and remove this part all the way. So I'm going to cut this ending and keep one eye here as a safety. Okay, pretty simple here. Again, a very obvious situation. These two remain. Let's see if they can bend. Sometimes when you see this, it looks like it broke, but actually it is perfectly fine. It just twists, but it's going to get stronger in the season and it's going to grow. The only problem is when you see that it like separates, then it is broken. But actually, if you can show it here, even in the last season, this arm when it was bent, it was pretty the same situation as it's here, very similar. And as you can see, it grew, and here we had the grapes. So but this year we are trying to leave a bit even longer canes. As you can see here, very obviously that last year the cane was this long. Now we are growing longer canes, but not because we want to increase the yield. Actually, quite the opposite. We want to limit our yield even more, but we want to spread it out. So this way we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shoots, which means that each shoot could have 2 to 3 grape bunches, but we only want to leave around 6 or 8 bunches per vine. On these younger vines, obviously maybe 6 at max, and we want to separate them out, and that's why we leave longer canes this year. So this is going to be the right side. Remove the arm. And for the left side, let's see if this goes. It looks good. So I'm going to keep it. And another bud. Could be this one, but as you can see, this was pretty weak and maybe it had some powdery mildew. So I'm not going to, or actually the bottom looks healthy, so I'm going to keep the eye there at the bottom and remove this, because this is quite a weird location to grow another shoot from there. So I'm going to remove it, and that's how it looks, checking for extra shoots or buds, but there are none. Okay, so another interesting situation. Last year probably we didn't have good enough canes from the head of the Guyot system, so that's why we have a weird situation here. This is the last year's cane where we grew these, and this is the cane from the year before that, and there was an eye left here. But if we can't bring back the head into the middle, then I'm going to keep this one, but I think we can try to actually keep these two and remove this arm, and then we can bring it back to location. But the problem is that this is a bit too high above the wire, and it is bending actually, looking good. And maybe try to keep this one for the other side, a bit shorter. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat, because Mark is also here, so he can let me know if there are any questions or suggestions. Man, I'm not too confident with this one, because if we cut down the other side, then maybe it's going to be hard to bring it back here. But no, actually it looks good because we have buds here and even here. So I'm going to leave one bud there and remove this side to have a correction. Good. Now we have a straight line again, and then I'm going to remove this part. So this is how it's going to look like. Perfect. This is also, again, looks a bit tough, but it is still connected. It's just bent. You have these vines, you can make these small bending breakages, as well as this here. It's completely fine. Okay, here the situation is pretty straightforward. We want to keep these two, so let's cut them into the shape that we desire. Okay, pretty good. This one, good. Perfect. Then we can remove the canes from the last season. And it's pretty close to the wire. You have to be very careful with it. And now let's see this little piece, if we can use it. But I think it's going to be fine. The wood has to go back. Okay, so this is ready. Next. Wow, this is a pretty strong and healthy wine with lots of shoots, and a pretty complicated situation. So in these cases, you have to be very careful. We also have an extremely late harvested grape. Probably this was left here because maybe it had some sour rot or some issue, and that's why we decided not to harvest it, or maybe it was so hidden that we didn't notice. But I think it's probably the first option. So let's see what can we do here. First of all, the vine is bent a bit to the side, which is not good. We have to straighten it when we are going to fix the canes to the wire. But yeah, this is quite a difficult situation because I don't know where to place the head, because we have so many chunks here and so many shoots. I think this should have been removed, some of these shoots, in the season, but for some reason they stayed. So I'm going to clean up a little bit to see better. I'm tempted to keep this for one side because it's a lot closer to the head of the line, and maybe it's going to simplify our situation. If it bends, it looks like it works perfectly. And now the left side is ready, and I might use this one for the other side, but still not sure. Or maybe this one actually. And now we can bring the growing area a bit lower by using these two canes, and then I can remove this side of the head completely. I'm not sure if I brought my saw, so I will have to try to cut it with the scissor. Okay, one more and we are good. Okay, now it's a lot more simple. This one is good, the other side is good. Let's keep an eye here for this one and remove this part. And now, oh, actually there is another one here. I didn't even notice. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, this one is a bit less vigorous. It's going to be more straightforward. This one to the left. Sometimes it looks like, sometimes you have to cross them, because this is, even though on the right side, but it is pretty obviously would like to bend to the left side. Now it broke. Okay, this is the situation that I was talking about. When it breaks like this, then you can't use it, so I have to find another cane, maybe this one, so I will remove it. So when it breaks like this, then it's pretty obvious that it's not going to work. Okay, Let's see what else can we do. I think we should keep this one and this one like this, like this. Let's bring it to this side. Shorter. Okay, this looks good. And this for the other side. Is it okay? Are we having technical difficulties?
Yes.
Yesterday, I was doing a almost 3 hour long live stream, and when I have finished the whole live, when I arrived home, I have noticed that the microphone got muted at around 40 minutes. So the last more than 2 hours were without sound. So I was explaining the whole day for myself. But as they say, repetition is the mother of knowledge. So what can we do? Okay, let's remove this. And I think we can see the canes that we want to keep. And again, we are going to go in the opposite direction. This goes to the left and this goes to the right. But obviously, when the shoots start to grow in the spring, here we must remove a few shoots not to have a huge agglomeration in the middle. So yeah, I'm going to keep one eye here for the next season. I'm going to remove this and remove the ending here and remove it from here. And I think we are good. Okay, next, also pretty obvious, or maybe not so much, because the head is coming, actually it is in good position, but maybe it's going to be too high for the next season, so we'll have to see about it. But for now, I think this is going to be okay if it doesn't break. Okay, it breaks. I knew it, that this is not going to work here. As I said, these grape varieties canes are for some reason a bit less bendable than others. I'm going to keep one eye here and now very carefully see if we can do the left side with this cane. Let's bring it to the other side of the wire and bend it very carefully. At the attachment point close to the bud, most of these canes, this is the position where they are the most fragile. So if you can bend them from an upper position, like from here, then the likeliness of breaking is a bit lower. As you can see, this one broke here at the base, so that's why. And if you can bend them in the same direction as they are facing, then that also can help, because if you go into the other direction, then there is more pressure on them. Okay, so I'm going to remove this whole part, because for the next season I think we have to focus on either these buds or this one, but for sure not bringing the growing area farther to the right. So next season this part is going to be cut down for sure, and we will work from here or either from here. So yeah, here, unfortunate situation, no wine to be found. 404 error. Unfortunately, what makes the situation even sadder is that probably it wasn't nature who removed this vine, but some bad people. In this vineyard, we had a few attacks and around 40 or 50 vines were stolen or even just cut down. We can't understand what motivates people to do such a thing. Uh, some of the vines were just cut down and put back into the soil, so it looked like they are fine, but then in the spring we noticed that they are not growing, and when we just moved the vines we saw that they just fell over, and they were not broken, but it was cut with a scissors. So, and also they grabbed the sticks from the vines, and lots of sticks were thrown around. So not sure what was the reason for that. Pretty frustrating, but we are taking measures and we are going to stop these activities for good. So yeah. Okay, let's see, what do we do here? This looks good, but for some reason this cane looks a bit weird. So I'm not sure if it's going to work with us, but it looks okay. Make it a bit shorter. This is good. The other side looks good as well. Okay, I think we can remove this. And also this. Maybe even lower. Okay. That's it. Pretty simple. Guys, pruning in this parcel is like 10 times easier than the others. Some more gray bunches. Okay, let's see. I like these two, or maybe these two as well. And maybe this part can be removed. But also this is a bit lower. Could be good as well. Let's see these two, if they are going to work. Okay, pretty tough, but it's still attached. So this can be not really, or maybe it's going to heal. As you can see, it's still attached on both sides, but there is a hole in the middle. In this situation, I think it has a 95% chance of survival, and it's going to grow some nice little grapes. But I think I will try these other two, because we still have quite a few good options. So this could be good as well. Obviously not this long. Make it a bit shorter. This one for the other side. Let's see if it bends. No. Can you see? This is what I'm talking about when I say that this bocator is pretty tough to manage. Okay, I think we will go with these two. It works. And then keep an eye there for
next year.
next year. And or if we would want, we could also go with this. Actually, let's test it out to see. For the left side instead of this one, what would happen if we would take this? Maybe it's a bit better. I don't think so. I will remove this. These two are going to be fine. And also very important, you want to remove these shoots, because in the summer, if you leave them, they are going to cause lots of trouble and will start lots of new shoots, which you don't want. Also, sometimes when the vines have too much bark on them, it's better to clean it, because under this bark lots of spores and sometimes even insects can hide. And if you just break it down like this, then it is healthier. But obviously it would take too much time to do it for the whole vineyard. But sometimes when it's very obvious that it is full, then sometimes just a little twist is enough. Okay, here it's pretty obvious. The situation is more simple than the previous one. This It looks good. Let's see this side. It bends perfectly. The position is perfect. I'm going to remove this and this. This arm is good. These two are good. And I think I'm not going to leave this one either. This is okay. And remove this. Great. Next, this is a bit stronger. Lots of really good canes. This is even hard to decide which one to keep. These two obviously have very good positions, but they grow from the same old position, same old cane, and I don't really like it to put all the pressure here, so I think I will bring it a bit to the sides and leave this one, because this is also a really good position and a really nice cane. But let's see if it's going to bend enough for us. It's cracking a bit, but it's still good. Okay, this looks good. Shorten it. Let's cut down this part, and let's see what can we do for the other side. Maybe actually this one didn't even notice this until this point. This is good. This is really good. And then we can keep one eye in the middle. For next year here, let's remove this part and remove this one as well. Great. No shoots on button. Correct. Okay, here we have very weird little situation here on the bottom. I'm not sure what was the thing last year, because it looks a bit weird. Let's remove it because we have enough canes to work with on the top. So this is definitely unnecessary. Let's see if we can bring this one closer to the earth. Just like that. So we have our two canes. I'm going to leave one eye here. These ones were left last year. So this is an interesting situation. You can see that sometimes, even though you leave a few little buds, these didn't grow, or maybe they grew, just they were removed, the shoots were removed in the spring, but nonetheless these were in the same situation as this is last year. So that's interesting. Okay, we have our two canes, our little bud here, and we can remove this arm just like that. Okay, this side looks like it had some issues, maybe some powdery mildew or something, because the right side is very obviously stronger. Look at these canes. It has 3, 4 very strong, very big canes, and on the other side just 1, 2, 3, 4 quite weak, and this is all already dead. Look at this. The inside is gray, and when you have healthy living canes, this looks green and very bright. So that's the difference. That's why in these situations you have to be careful and see what to do with this. The last cane looks a bit healthier, but still, if this side is a bit shaky, then I'm going to remove it. It's a better idea. As you can see, even the interior has some breakage, and we want to work from the other side, but still to make sure that we are not going to move the head of the vine too much to this side. I'm going to keep an eye here, or maybe even take this part and keep one in the middle, this one, and from this eye we can bring back the whole situation to the middle. Also, we have a shoot from the bottom. I will remove this. If you are working with very old vines, then you have to consider these shoots from this position, because the position of this shoot is actually perfect because it is above the grafting area in the bottom. So this is the same vine as we grow here. So this is healthy and it's in a good position. So if this would be a very old and very tired grapevine, then I would keep this. I would attach it here and grow it, and after a few years when it becomes strong, I would remove the old one. But obviously, as I said, these are young vines, they still have a bright future, so we don't need the replacements yet. So I'm going to try to move this to the other side if I can. Even the side shoots, the lateral shoots, are very strong. Even the tendrils. Okay, now let's see if it's going to work with us in this situation. Tough time, but it looks okay. And we will take this to the left side, but for some reason I'm not too confident with this either. So should I keep it like this? We have two options here. We can do a bit of a hybrid system for this year. Obviously we are doing the Guyot system, which means that you have a vine head and two canes to the side, or you can do one longer cane to one side. And the other very popular tall vine pruning system is the cordon system, when you have two arms of the vine, or also one arm if you want to go to the one side, and on that arm you keep a few buds, just like that, a few eyes. And in these situations, when the vine doesn't really conform to your plans, then you can do this hybrid system of keeping an arm on the left side and maybe a cordon like arm on the other. And obviously next year we can just remove that, so it doesn't have to change the whole pruning style, but for 1 year you could go with that. So now I'm thinking if I should do it here to leave this one and maybe a few eyes here. But now if I look closer, I think this is going to be fine, so I will remove it. But nonetheless, it's good to know that sometimes you can do it. So I can show you. So if I have kept this one, I would keep these two eyes, and then we would have the growing area here, here, and here, and we would have the same grape bunches. But this is more to the style of our vineyard, but a bit shorter. I think this is too long on this side. Where is the neighbor here? Actually, this is good. Okay. Next, I will keep this one on this side. Okay, very good, very strong. When the cane is just a bit thinner, then it's easier, not easier, but it's less likely to break when you bend it. There is a very nice like parallel that we used to say, that vine canes are similar to children, because you have to educate them early, and then that is a lot easier than trying to change people when they are old. Same with the vine shoots. These young shoots can be bent into the best position, but obviously this old part is not going to move anytime soon. I'm just checking if this for the right side is in a good location. It's a bit lower, but it fits pretty well to our wire, and we can still bring the growing head back here, so it's not an issue. Even though this is pretty strong, I think I will remove it and just go with this position. Okay. I hate when something fell straight into my ear. And one time we were spraying in our peach garden, and a little bug flew straight into my ear, and it went like, I felt that it entered my brain. It was the worst feeling ever, and I was panicking how to get it out because it was so deep inside. I felt that it is next to my eardrum, and it was moving there, and I thought that maybe it is going to damage my eardrum. And it felt like it's a huge thing. For the first few seconds I thought that it is bee, and it's going to sting the inside of my ear. And then it was there. I felt that it's a huge bug, and then my father came there, and another person, one of our workers, and they were checking, and then just a tiny little bug flew out. It was very tiny, but it was so close to my eardrum that it felt like it's a huge bug. It was very bad feeling.
Cheers, Hiram. How are you doing?
Thank you for watching. Is the live okay? Everything is working. How many people are watching?
Of course. 10, 12 people like.
On the which live has how many views?
A few.
Check it out.
Yes.
Let's see what is happening. Oh, this is the which channel?
The first is the Vine Inspires.
The Vine Inspires, and this one is that's a Papa channel. Just a second. I closed that. Okay. I closed this one. Sorry.
It's okay.
Cheers. Okay, let's continue the pruning. I think something is wrong with the Vine Inspires stream. I think there is it doesn't show up correctly. I'm not sure what is happening. Okay, let's see what is happening here. This has a very weird position. It is kind of stuck between these two, so I think it's going to be very hard to bend it in any position. So I think I will remove that and try to work with this one to this side. Let's see. Wow, so strong. Such a strong cane. Obviously this is too long, a bit shorter. Okay, this side is good, and maybe this to the other side, or no, actually this one looks even better. Okay, and then let's remove this. Maybe let's keep one eye here for the next year and remove this part, but it's kind of hard to access it, but this is going to be the way. Okay. I could have got it here even lower. Good. Now we are ready. What's the time? I think let's do one more and let's finish for today. It was a long day of different things. Let's remove this. Actually, there is one more bud. Let's cut it out, because either way, if we keep this here, then we will have to remove the shoot in the spring. Okay, this one, very bad position. Let's remove it right away. We don't need this. And now here again, similar situation. We have many good options. So let's see which one to work with. This one looks good. Pretty good position. And maybe this one for the other side, actually. This would be perfect. But I think it might break, because it is a bit weird. Pretty weird. So I will leave this one for next year. When I remove this part, maybe let's leave two. We'll see. And then let's keep this one. For the other. Maybe a bit shorter. And remove this one. And now it's perfect. Let's remove the shoots here, because I think there are some extra. It's so clean. It's pretty beautiful. So that was it today for our pruning session. We are going to continue the pruning. We still have around 50% of the vineyards left for pruning. So we are going to continue with some live streams, and I want to test live streaming some wine tastings as well, and do some classes on the wine tasting. The sun is already set. This is a beautiful view. Actually, it looks like we have some fog in the valley, but I think it's more smoke than fog, unfortunately. But yeah, beautiful scenery. The vines are pruned, at least this part. We still have some more to do on this side and in other plots. But yeah, as I said, this is one of my favorite parcels. Thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.
He does it.